You often find yourself busy, overwhelmed, constantly working, yet somehow still not seeing the growth or the results you desperately want. And I get it. It's not because you're lazy or lack potential, but because you're caught in a subtle, almost invisible cycle of self-sabotage, draining your most valuable resources without even realizing it. The problem isn't your effort, it's where you're directing it. You're working hard, but are you working smart, or just working more for diminishing returns? Look, I'm not here to fill your head with cheap motivation or tell you it's easy. It's not. But there's a different way to approach this. If you're tired of generic advice and you genuinely want to understand the underlying principles that govern real transformation, stick with me until the end. We're going to deconstruct some common beliefs that keep you stuck and reveal how you might be unconsciously sabotaging your own incredible potential, and more importantly, how to stop. Let's be honest. Many of us have been taught that hard work, sheer grit, and long hours are the undeniable path to success. The more you sweat, the more you grind, the more you do, the more you'll achieve. Right? Well, I'm going to tell you something that might be a little controversial. That's often a lie. Or at least, it's not the whole truth. And believing it blindly is one of the biggest ways you might be sabotaging your own growth without even noticing the damage. I spent years of my life chained to this belief. I remember a period in my early 20s, fresh out of college, working 2 jobs, building my first side hustle, and I was perpetually exhausted. I thought if I just pushed harder, if I just sacrificed more, if I just kept myself busy with everything, success would inevitably follow. I'd wake up before dawn, scroll through endless to-do lists, feel a strange sense of accomplishment ticking off tasks, even if they were low impact. My days were a blur of meetings, emails, content creation, networking, learning new skills. You name it, I was doing it. I was the poster child for hustle culture. Yet despite all this relentless effort, my growth felt stagnant. My bank account wasn't growing proportionally, my personal projects were crawling, and my energy was completely drained. I was doing a lot, but accomplishing very little that truly moved the needle. This is the insidious trap many of us fall into, the belief that working more automatically translates to more success. It's a deeply ingrained cultural narrative. We see people who appear successful and we assume it's because they're doing a million things. So we try to emulate that visible busyness without understanding the underlying strategy or lack thereof. We confuse activity with productivity. We pile on more tasks, say yes to every opportunity, chase every shiny new trend because we think that's what successful people do. But what if all that frantic activity is actually a sophisticated form of procrastination? A way to avoid the truly important, often uncomfortable, work. What if it's the very mechanism you're using to sabotage your own progress and keep yourself stuck in a cycle of perceived effort but minimal real-world impact? The damage isn't just about wasted time or energy, it's about the erosion of your confidence, the frustration of feeling like you're constantly running on a treadmill, and the slow, insidious death of your authentic drive. You start to question your abilities, believing you're just not good enough, when in reality, you're just playing the wrong game. And that, my friend, is a painful place to be. But the good news is, understanding this can completely change your trajectory. So, if working more doesn't guarantee more success, what does? This is where understanding fundamental principles comes in, and few are as powerful as the Pareto principle or the 80-20 rule applied to your personal development and productivity. This principle states that roughly 80% of your results come from 20% of your efforts. Think about it. 80% of customer complaints come from 20% of customers. 80% of sales come from 20% of products. And in your life, 80% of your meaningful progress comes from 20% of your activities. The real challenge, the crucial understanding that transforms everything, is identifying that vital 20%. These are your cash cow activities. They are the high-leverage actions that, when focused upon, yield disproportionate returns in your life, your career, your financial growth, and your personal well-being. The opposite is also true. 80% of your time and energy often go into tasks that produce only 20% of your desired outcomes. This is where the self-sabotage lives. in that vast 80% of busy work, distractions, and low-value tasks that masquerade as being productive. I remember vividly when this concept clicked for me. I was feeling the burnout I mentioned earlier, overwhelmed and underwhelmed, simultaneously. I stumbled upon the Pareto principle, and it sounded almost too simple, too good to be true, but I was desperate. So, I decided to apply it ruthlessly to my own life. I started by tracking my time and my energy for a week, noting down every single task, big or small, and then, most importantly, identifying the actual outcome of each one. Not just did I finish it, but did this truly contribute to my main goals? What I discovered was shocking. My cash cow activities were things like deep work blocks dedicated solely to crafting high-value content, focused learning sessions to master a specific skill, strategic networking conversations with people genuinely aligned with my vision, and dedicated time for self-reflection and planning. The 80% of low-impact activities? Endless email checking, social media scrolling, attending optional meetings, reorganizing my digital files for the 10th time, constantly tweaking website designs, engaging in unnecessary online debates, or responding to every single non-urgent message immediately. These felt productive in the moment. They kept me busy, but they were draining my time and energy without moving the needle. They were the silent saboteurs. The beauty of the 80-20 rule is that it gives you permission to do less but achieve more. It's a liberation from the tyranny of the to-do list that never ends. It forces you to ask hard questions. What are the 20% of actions that truly matter? What are the other 80% that I can delegate, automate, or simply eliminate? When you start thinking this way, your entire approach to productivity, time management, and even decision-making shifts fundamentally. It's not about being a ruthless machine. It's about being a strategic human being who understands the flow of impact. This understanding transforms confusion into clear action, and that, my friend, is where real growth begins. Now that we understand the principle, how do we actually apply it? This isn't just theory. It's a practical system that requires conscious analysis and a willingness to let go of activities that don't serve your highest goals. This method of analysis and selectivity is your protocol to uncover your cash cow activities and ruthlessly eliminate what drains your energy without generating significant value. It's a process, not a one-time fix, but it starts with a few key steps. Step 1. The audit. Identify your top 3 goals. Before you can find your 20%, you need absolute clarity on your 100%. What are your top 3 overarching goals for the next 90 days or 6 months? Be specific. Are they financial, personal growth, a specific project launch? Write them down. These are your true north. If an activity doesn't directly or indirectly serve one of these 3 goals, it's probably in the 80% bucket. This is where most people get stuck. They have vague goals, so everything seems important. Clarity on your goals is your first defense against self-sabotage. Step 2. The time and energy log. Track and analyze for a week. For 1 week, meticulously log every single activity you do and the amount of time it takes. At the end of each day, or even each activity, quickly reflect. Did this activity move me closer to one of my top 3 goals? Assign a value score, 1 to 10, based on its impact, not just effort. You'll quickly see patterns. Those 2-hour meetings that yielded nothing, that 1 hour of social media scrolling that gave you anxiety, those are your energy. Vampires, the low-value 80%. My own experience here was eye-opening. I realized I was spending over 15 hours a week on tasks that had a value score of 3 or less. Imagine getting that time back. Step 3. The ruthless elimination and delegation protocol. Armed with your log and value scores, it's time to get surgical. For every activity with a low value score, can it be eliminated entirely? Be brave. Many things we do are simply habits, expectations, or things we feel we should do, but don't actually matter. If it's not a hell yes for your top 3 goals, it's a no. Can it be delegated? Can someone else do it faster, cheaper, or simply at all? Even if it costs a little money, if it frees up your time for a cash cow activity, it's an investment, not an expense. Remember, time and energy are finite resources. Can it be automated? Look for tools or processes to streamline repetitive tasks. Can it be batch processed? Group similar low-value tasks, like emails, admin, and do them all at once during a dedicated, limited time slot. This isn't just about making lists. It's about activating a selective mode in your brain. It's a fundamental shift from "how can I do it all" to "what is the most important thing I need to do right now and what can I let go of?" For me, this involved saying no to collaboration opportunities that didn't align, unsubscribing from newsletters that didn't add value, setting strict boundaries around communication, and even politely declining social events that would drain my energy without true connection. It felt scary at first, like I was being selfish or missing out, but the freedom and clarity that followed were immense. I stopped killing myself with busy work and started focusing my precious time on the true drivers of my growth. This isn't just a habit of focus, it's a mindset of intentional living that protects your most vital resources. So, let's tie all of this together. The insidious self-sabotage we often don't notice isn't about a lack of effort or ambition. It's far more subtle. It's the misdirection of that very effort, driven by a deeply ingrained belief that busy equals productive and that doing more will inevitably lead to more success. We've been conditioned to equate constant activity with progress, when in reality, it's often a fast track to burnout and frustration, leaving us feeling stuck on a treadmill, running hard but getting nowhere. The damage isn't just physical. Exhaustion. It's the psychological toll of wasted time, unfulfilled potential, and a nagging sense of inadequacy. But here's the game changer. When you truly understand and internalize the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule, it liberates you from this exhausting cycle. It's not about working harder, it's about working smarter, by identifying and ruthlessly prioritizing your cash cow activities. Those vital 20% that generate 80% of your most meaningful results. This isn't a quick hack. It's a fundamental shift in your relationship with time, energy, and decision-making. It's about cultivating clarity over chaos, intentionality over reactivity. I know what you might be thinking. I don't have time to do this analysis, or it sounds too difficult to cut things out, I have too many responsibilities. And I get it. I've been there. The idea of adding another thing to your plate, even if it promises to simplify later, can feel overwhelming. But consider the cost of not doing it. How much time and energy are you already losing to activities that yield minimal return? How much longer are you willing to feel this cycle of busyness and frustration? This isn't about perfection, it's about progress. It's about taking one conscious step to reclaim your power and steer your ship with purpose. The transformation isn't magic, but it's very real when you apply these principles with consistency and a renewed sense of focus. The real truth is, your growth isn't being held back by a lack of potential or passion. It's being hindered by an unconscious agreement to participate in activities that simply don't serve your highest purpose. It's a quiet form of self-sabotage, one that whispers, "Just do more," when what you truly need is to do what matters. Remember my story, years of exhaustion, feeling like I was doing everything right, yet seeing minimal results. The breakthrough came not from magically finding more hours in the day, but from the radical decision to stop doing the 80% of things that felt productive but were actually just noise. I shifted my mindset, found my cash cows, and poured my focused energy into those. It wasn't instant, but slowly, consistently, everything changed. My work became more impactful, my energy levels stabilized, and my true growth accelerated. You are the only one who can make these strategic decisions for your life. No one else can audit your activities, clarify your true goals, or choose to eliminate the energy vampires that drain you. The power is completely in your hands. This isn't about being selfish, it's about being strategic with your precious, finite resources. It's about giving yourself permission to stop being busy for busy's sake and start being productive for the sake of your most authentic, impactful life. You don't have to believe me, but I challenge you to test this. Try applying the 80-20 rule to one area of your life for the next 30 days and see what happens. The version of you that achieves incredible things is waiting for your conscious choices today. If this message resonated with you, if you've ever felt caught in the trap of busyness without real progress, I want to hear from you. I'm not just asking for likes or generic comments. Instead, tell me, what's one cash cow activity you've identified that you're going to double down on, or one low-impact activity you're committed to eliminating starting today? Share it in the comments below. Your commitment, even a small one, is powerful, and sharing it can inspire others who are on this same journey towards intentional growth. If you're ready to stop sabotaging your own potential and truly understand the fundamentals of real transformation, not just temporary motivation, then make sure to subscribe to this channel. We're building a community of people who are serious about authentic change, not just chasing quick fixes.